Hi, I'm Caroline McGuire, and I'm the author of Why Will No One Play With Me, as well as a social skills coach and an ADHD coach. I wanted to do a quick video on social blind spots. Many times people bring up the fact that they have social blind spots, they feel like they commit social faux pas, and they beat themselves up about it. I have a lot more information on rejection sensitivity and how to stop rumination and anxiety on CarolineMcGuireAuthor.com. So I'm not going to go into that right now, but it is a huge piece of this. Part of our blind spots is that we don't pause and notice things, and then we end up beating ourselves up and we have a harder time sort of afterwards. So, my whole project here is to help us be a little more thoughtful as we go forward so that we can end the blind spots. I also would say that everybody messes up some of the time, and sometimes because you're super conscious, you're beating yourself up a lot more than you need to. First, when you're thinking of your social blind spots, don't use why questions. Why questions just get us into a ruminative loop. You can't know why. You're not sure why the person canceled dinner. You're not sure why things didn't work out. You're not sure why someone broke up with you. Think of what questions. We're going to talk about social expectations and social norms. What are the social expectations? What are the social norms? A lot of times, part of our blind spot is we're not sure of our perspective. Is our lens correct? Is how we're seeing things correct? This is part of what I want to stop. I want to help you so that you can really feel confident that your lens is correct, that your perspective is correct, that whether or not things work out with someone, whether or not you speak up in a meeting, whether or not you stay silent, you feel confident in your decisions so that you know where your social blind spots are and you really can read the situation. And therefore, whether or not you make a decision is really feels confident to you versus something that you feel unconfident about and you're worried about, and then you end up ruminating. I'm going to share my screen. The first thing I want to share is that we all need to be better noticers. Being a noticer really will help you because you're going to step back and think about the social norms of different situations. I know that Why Will No One Play With Me is written for teenagers, kids, and parents, but a lot of the exercises in Why Will No One Play With Me can help you figure out social norms and expectations. So it might be something that's worth a read. Here's the thing. In every situation, there are unspoken rules, social norms, and expectations. If you sit back and you observe the situation, whether it's in a virtual meeting or an in-person situation, you can start to understand the context and the social norms of the situation. Another way to really figure this out is to do an inventory of the people you know. So in Why Will No One Play With Me on page 183, I have an exercise called anticipating motives. Anticipating people's motives, doing an inventory of everybody in your life, and understanding the people in the different domains of your life can really help you detect social expectations. Then, as you go into things, you really know how people will react and what you want to adapt, what you want to put forward, and how you want to be in that situation. So what you do is you go through and you make a little inventory. You spy on and collect information and think about the different people in the domains of your life. I say here pick 2 to 4 people, but there's no harm in doing a bunch of them. You can think about what interests the person, what your relationship is with them, what kind of sense of humor they have, what's their energy when they speak, what are they passionate about, what are their pet peeves, what's your level of intimacy with this person. I talked a lot at the International Conference on ADHD about each level of intimacy and how we are with different people. You can look that video up, and that can be immensely helpful because we want to adapt depending on our level of trust and intimacy with someone. You also want to think about these people's values, their aspirations, their attitudes, their trustworthiness. As you enter each social situation, the people in it are important because you're going to adapt based on your relationship with those people. That way, you also know your perspective is correct. Because if you understand the people in the situation and you really have pause to think about who they are and what they're about, and really get down to the nitty gritty, How are they in terms of their mannerisms in different situations? What do they do in these different situations that shows you how they feel about you, about other things? They might change their body language, their tone of voice, and how they are. That will give you insight into your perspective, because instead of wondering if you've messed up or if they're offended or what's going on with them, you will really have done an inventory and you'll understand how their body language, tone of voice, facial expressions, and social cues are in different situations. The other thing is that you want to think about who people are so you can predict how they'll behave in different situations. By becoming a better noticer and really understanding people, you can predict how they will react. So there's less blind spots because things aren't coming up and surprising you. You're predicting and thinking about people. This isn't to weigh you down or make things feel really heavy and overwhelming. This is really so that you can walk into any situation, spy on the social norms, understand the expectations, understand who is your audience, who are you talking to, and what are they about. And then you can adapt based on that information. That will lead to less shame, less self loathing, and a lot less thinking about everything and reanalyzing it and going into a ruminative spin. I made a video last year with Jessica from How to ADHD, and you can go Google Caroline McGuire and rejection sensitivity, and that video should come up. A lot of us end up in a ruminative loop, and there certainly is a lot that goes into bringing you out of that loop. So definitely look up the other information that I have out there so that if that is happening to you, you can break that cycle. I hope this helps with social blind spots. The biggest thing you want to do is really understand other people better so that you can know that your perspective is accurate on them. Thank you so much.